Welcome back. We're here to do the super chats. Yes, we're late. As usual, I have been having technical issues. We will get into the update. Number one is, for a while there, I haven't been putting the disclaimers up, and I have to. So first and best dressed. PayPal comes first, YouTube next. So first and, as mentioned, best dressed. And it is, I will pick about 3 to 4 cards, tune into the energy and move on to the other. And again, it's timely. Sometimes some energies will come through and they're going to be a lot heavier. I try to give an energy update at the very beginning of each video. So, and you always can utilize the super chats with other people, especially if they're having a similar circumstance to you. Never look at it as, hey, this video is a super chat video. You always can get a commonality with another person and go, wow, that's a very interesting way to deal with that circumstance. I try to give you my spiritual advice through my ascension process so that I can guide you, but you also can learn from other people. So if you are unable to pick a super chat, for instance, gain wisdom from other people. Listen to the readings, listen to maybe the spiritual advice and take what you will, what serves you. Again, legally, I do have to say, I do not give professional, financial, psychological advice, although when it does come down to this energy, especially with the ascension, especially with the astrology, inadvertently, we all emotionally can be dealing with these things. If you do feel, and there's one company out there lately, and I'll have to get their name again, and I may start mentioning it, which is actually a professional service that provides those such services. And it's via Skype, very similar to coaching bookings that I provide online. And there are tools out there. So that's what I'm saying. So, use this with the intuition and the wisdom involved. And, it's, our power is our power. What our personal lives and what is happening is very individual to us. But I can say, and I did mention this last month, really wrapping up the eclipse energy, moving into this month, what we were going to find is it was going to be pretty difficult. Now that we've done that, I am not moving my camera. You can see all my junk back here. I'm charging another camera. The USB port isn't working. So I'm going to try and not touch this. Otherwise, it's going to be on the telephone like the good old days. Now, the other thing that I do want to touch base on is when we did have the eclipses, and I've been saying this for months now, we have had heavy energy since May. This was always going to be one of those years that we were having huge revelations. You do tend to find, especially when we had the nodes in Taurus, is that we were very apprehensive to make change. It was almost like it was too risky, all the way down to, the economy, all the way down to maybe leaving a job, looking at a partnership, dealing with testing waters. Uranus and Taurus is sudden, so it's almost like a tower moment. It comes quite drastically, and then we're trying to get our equilibrium. Now, during that transit, especially because we did just have the eclipse in the house of Taurus, where those energies between Libra and Taurus are still playing out. We're in November, but because we're still spiritually wrapping them up, they're still theoretically playing out. That's one thing. Now, while it was in that position, those radical changes that we wanted to actually make were virtually impossible. No sooner were we doing something, we were going backwards. The other aspect that currently is happening is we're moving towards the moon in Scorpio. It wasn't the axis of the previous nodes. Don't stress if you don't understand what this means. I'll try and give you a intellectual way to look at it. Of over the last 18 months previous to this year, we're wrapping those cycles up, and we always find them kind of rotating, and it's an energy that will bring about some synchronistic patterns. So, it is a Venus sign, so it's to do with women. It's to do with Venus energy. Currently, the other position that it is sitting in is Uranus and Taurus, and it's retrograde. I always get wary when it goes direct, but usually it's changes that we needed to make collectively regardless. And a lot of subjects to do with women are going to come up. Libra also is, but it relates to a masculine energy. It's actually a masculine zodiac sign. However, it is a Venusian sign also. So we're sort of bringing those subjects up in the collective to do with money and femininity and equal rights, and money and values and food and agriculture, laws and justice, fairness and the give and take. Now, the problem and the spanner in the works is Pluto. Pluto in Capricorn is theoretically wrapping up a karmic cycle. Generally, in our lifetime, we may go through 2 to 3 max. It does have a stage where it sits in a sign, and it's very temperamental in its time frame. So on this occasion, it's going to be about 20 years, 25 years. Don't quote me. Not the context I really want to bring. However, because it's reaching that very critical point that we are getting to a place where it's going to be wrapping up, we're going to get both polarities going on. Now, what do I mean by that? Subject matters that we had in the house of Aquarius, because of its degree point, it's bringing about both energies, regardless of where it sits. So close in proximity. So we can be juggling 2 various areas. And again, Scorpio is very deep, and we are in Scorpio season. So it's the wounds that are, hidden. It's old patterns, it's conditioning, it's bitterness, it's revenge, it's secrets, hidden enemies, exposure, feeling exposed or something being exposed to you. The other thing can be, like wounds. It can be fear-based frequency. It can be very psychic in nature. Your intuition can be on point. Then you can be looking at it. Am I being paranoid? Am I superstitious of this circumstance? Is there something deeper going on with me? And we're going to personalize things, okay? And some things, let's just be perfectly honest, they are friggin' personal. Other things are patterns. The other area I want to talk about is the fact that Saturn, during its retrograde, it went to 7 degrees and it retrograded back. Now, it's so theoretically, when it's retrograde, we're reflecting upon our responsibility structures, age, maturity, what the burdens are. They're Saturn's not the bad guy. Saturn is, it's sort of like a father figure coming in and telling you about life, the hard stuff in life, how to mature, how to evolve, how to run a business, for instance, getting the footings correct, taking the personal out of it and being very realistic when you're looking at them. It can connect to bones, teeth, age, retirement, and it's currently in the house of Pisces. Now, Pisces also is a Venusian sign, which is a Venus sign. So again, another element of Venus, money, love, relationships. We've had a lot during Venus retrograde where we had breakups, makeups, really going into that renegotiation. And, if you were separate, for instance, especially because I do actually connect in with twin flames. Now, the reason I do still continue to connect with twin flames is because I am one myself. I don't necessarily need the tag. I understand the experience a lot more after many years of dealing with it being a psychic medium, really connecting into astrology so I could understand where my ascension processes were coming from, looking at human psychology so I could understand and do the spiritual work on myself. So you do end up being in an awakening, an aware person, a person who is becoming acutely aware of your blockages, your prejudices, your downfalls, because we are human after all. And, the benefit of it is we are going to do the work on those things. And I've said for many, many years, the old paradigm and tradition of a physical marriage is for the good, the bad, and the ugly, correct? And it's a spiritual connection. Otherwise, you just wouldn't bloody do it. Do you know what I mean? And for the right person, you will go to hell and back for that situation. So be it the person is with another person, there is this draw to this situation. You don't know why. Sometimes it's the trauma we're clearing. Sometimes it is a very psychic energy because we are empaths. We need to learn to protect ourselves. We need to learn to create boundaries. I also do feel that, there's a point in the game, okay, that we are very apprehensive of articulating how we feel for fear of rejection. I do know through my path, I can absolutely say I'm a very different person these days. When we say we don't take any crap, it's not that. It's that you outgrow certain things. You become a different human being. You will articulate if there is an issue, and there is no ifs and buts about it. Collectively, I have seen, oh, thanks, Dale. Collectively, I have seen a lot of energies coming up with the masculines at the moment. And what spiritually I'm really picking is that there is a yin and yang imbalance at the moment, both with the masculines and feminines. So we can be feeling very suppressed and frustrated and misunderstood, and they can be feeling that as well. Habits also with the scorpionic energy can be that we're hiding things, and sometimes these are revelations we have inside our lives that we just simply don't know, and they come up and they crop up and they rear their ugly head, and we don't know why we're acting a certain way. And it is behavioral and pattern, right? So it's like getting to the crux of it. Now, those of us that are doing spiritual work on ourselves and have that self-awareness, we're going to call it right away, and we're going to go, wow, I really need to be dealing with this situation. I really need to be dealing with this because I want to break a pattern here. And also, if I make a cake differently, it means I'm going to get a different outcome, even if somebody else is responding to me in a very different way. Now, I'm going to bring me into the picture in this circumstance. Because, we especially do think that when a person is in union, that they're immune and they don't have things happening. And it's actually polar opposite. We all collectively are going through changes. We all do. We ascend to different levels. We learn to react to circumstances differently. But I definitely have found some challenges that I have been experiencing of late. Now, when we do have wounds and we have had a history with a person, it's only natural that these things in different chapters are going to resurrect themselves. That can be if you've come into communication with your twin, or pardon me, you are, going back into the circumstance in a different way. Mine is that we are getting married, and that, getting closer to it. My mother asked me the other day, she says, how are you actually feeling? And I said, it's a very interesting experience because my first connection was a chosen one. It was very traditional. And I do recall thinking back to the situation of, is this it for me? And it wasn't that that person was a bad person. It was that spiritually for me, I wanted something very raw and organic. Meeting them, it was almost like psychically, unbeknownst to me, I was looking for sort of like the other half of me. And it's not that I was in lack. It was that spiritually there was something that was amiss. The other situation is when you have had demons, you have had betrayals, when you're faced with moving forward, you're going to have triggers that do come up. So that can be a buck stew, it can be a hen's night, it can be whatever those things are, that can be trigger points. Now, I also, at a very separate level, have had a lot of things coming up on the news where it does come to really horrendous things happening to women. And again, it can directly be because of the placements in the transits. What I would actually say is be honest, okay? So wherever you are in your connection, the one thing that has helped me in my life has been really getting fed up of having no voice. Okay, I very much did outgrow not having a voice because let's admit, as human beings, we have feelings. We do have wounds and we do have to take accountability for them, but we can actually articulate how we feel. Not that it means that the person has intentionally done that, but it is about being accountable for how we experience that, how we break it down, how we go into it and communicate, so that we're actually recreating a new way that we can rebuild that new situation. So yes, if you do have a grievance with the situation, being detached doesn't mean being mute. It doesn't mean not having an opinion. It doesn't mean that if you are a female and you have a feeling to do with the situation, that you are a problem, that you are being a troublemaker. You have your own story. that you have lived and nobody can judge you. So if you are having those experiences, I want you to be gentle with yourself. I want you to get to a space that you can say, no, I'm not going to apologize for having a feeling. I am going to express how I feel. And it's okay if I feel that this situation is really shitty. It's okay if I need to stand up for myself and say this is unacceptable. And I did say with the North Node moving into Aries, we were going to have, a lot of ego, right? There's a difference between I'm in ego, I'm being self-righteous, and no, this is my spiritual right. You're overstepping a mark here. This is unacceptable behavior. Do you get what I'm saying? So if you do have a circumstance and you are in communication and you're worried that if you articulate how that situation made you feel, how they're going to react, that's actually theirs. That's not yours. And you'll find that not necessarily will you feel amazing if you spew sputum everywhere, but if you can find the correct words, you've actually let it off your chest, you've said your piece, and you feel you've been your own spiritual advocate. So that would be my advice for you. Any questions before we jump into the super chats? So there has been this energy of imbalance. Okay. I haven't done the joint connection. I may go into a speech energy with this one because it's very heavy at the moment energetically within the be it you're in communication, joint connection, separation. There is an interesting vibration coming through with masculine energy collectively. We do run the risk of personalizing these things. I can say it's going to be temporary. The other thing I'll say is because Saturn has gone from 7 degrees to 0 degrees as it goes direct, it's going to take a while till next year to catch up. So what we're going to experience is in those areas we have Saturn or Pisces. If you directly have Saturn and Pisces, this is very personal for you. But if you have where that Pisces placement is, it's going to hit those areas. And it can make you feel melancholy. It can be a physical situation that you're having to go backwards to go forwards, and it can take 6 months. You can feel as though old patterns are cropping up and people are repeating cycles. Can we break it? Sometimes these things directly happen so you can get to the root cause of it. As much as I would say don't personalize what's happening, if theoretically we are joint connections, we are spiritual beings, we are having a humanistic experience as well as a spiritual, as long as you're not going on a rampage, and I do raise my voice. I do express how I feel. I am my own spiritual advocate for, my life and my path and the twin flame path collectively. So if you do need to get to the crux of it, don't avoid those things, because what happens is you're sweeping it under the carpet. Bitterness and anger will, crop up. And what you're wanting to do is form new patterns, even with that person that maybe has a real shitty communication style, to get to the root cause of it, to change the behavior pattern so you can have a different cake, because you don't want to eat the same shit, right? Now, you can't do all the work. One vibration that was coming through was people were almost blaming themselves for other people's behavior, and you simply can't do that. Okay, that's almost like if I change, if I'm different, that's in a child. Smoky quartz would be at this point in time something that I'd really recommend. It's going to give you courage. It's going to give you inspiration. It can spiritually protect you. Citrine also for the detoxing. If you do find aggressive energy is increasing, I would probably steer clear of eating the orange food groups. Again, this is not medical advice or dietary. Test the situation. If you have special needs, obviously always follow a professional. So it can be removing meats, red food groups, anything Mars in nature, color therapy also. So it would be the red or the red and the orange. If you're feeling unmotivated, really dancing through the hips. So, which is a lot of things I'm going to be re-implementing back in my own twin flame life and my own awakening, is some of the things that I was using, I would say back in 2017. And I can guarantee you a lot of this energy is coming from there. Why? Is because Pluto is wrapping a cycle up and it's ever so close. Going to be pretty intense next year. But that wrap up can feel that pressure point, especially if unbeknownst to us, we've been dragging some of that crap with us and we go, oh, wow, there's some junk in my trunk. I need to dump that. We also can find in our light body is that we can gain weight. Okay. So spiritually, when we find that we are maybe holding fluid, holding body weight, and it's like everything you're doing, it's simply not working. It can be spiritual energy and spiritual blockages. So by working on that energy and really stopping and looking around and going, okay, whose energy is interfering with mine? Is there something I can do to come back to that grounded energy? Is there something I can do to maybe detox? Because when you are spiritual and you're an empath, we can absorb frequency, and it's how to unwind, it's how to detox those things so that we can feed our soul, and then we can be, if we can't be good to us, the ship's going down, we're not going to be able to be logical, rational, or be able to deal with other people's BS. Do you get what I'm saying? So those would be some of the tips I would give. I would say also, I always say this, 2 weeks after an eclipse, we can have some weather events. As it could be. Scorpio also can be underground, so it can be volcanic activity. But again, it's emotions. It's emotions festering to the surface, very Mars in nature. I'm just saying. So, yes, very shifting. Now, is it positive that we have the North Node in Aries? Yes, it's positive and negative. Okay. Somebody asked me the other day, do you think that the energy will calm down where it comes to anger and, situations happening on the other side of the world? Not this month. Not yet, no. If anything, because we had that Libra has moved to the South Node, it can be about other countries really not coming to agreements with things. No alliances, no agreements when it comes to trade and resources. And this can be happening in our own businesses. It can be happening with our love life. It can be happening with our bodies and the food we're putting into it and going, and I may give some more predictions in the Members Hub, and that's because of being careful about what you say. Okay, we're going to be careful. And things are acting very Mercury. Because of the planets, we're going to have Mercury going retrograde next month, which is going to bring a whole new set all the way back to 2020. We're going to feel like we're returning back there. It is temporary, but nevertheless, we're going to have a return to that energy. Now, let's get into the super chats before Giggle falls asleep and goes, bloody hell, Yildiz, stop talking. And I hope this information has helped some of you. Because it has been very testing. There are some patterns certain zodiac signs are needing to deal with. I would say definitely Libra, Aries. Masculine and feminine are very different, how they're going to be relating to those frequencies. Taurus and Scorpio. A lot of old patterns, a lot of old triggers. Who else? Scorpio, Taurus, Cancer and Capricorn, most definitely. Pisces and Virgo, your energy is going to come up, and our wellness. You must protect your wellness at this point. So I'll just find Giggle's last post. Thank you, Giggle. You're a legend. So I hope you get it. Okay, it's been pretty shitty the last few days. Let's just be perfectly honest. Okay, crowning energy and 3 cards for Shasta, please. I'll try and keep them off the table because I don't want to bump the camera. I don't want to. I mean, I love the camera. I also love the camera that Giggle gave me, which now I'm going to set up so I can probably have 2 cameras, right? And we'll see where this energy is coming from. If you have a question, you need to jump in right away. If you're not here, I'm just going to read what's there. Okay. Now, I have added extra super chats midweek, and that is because this energy this month is going to be pretty heavy. So grab it. If you can't be there, put your question in the super chat. You can say page, you can say where, whatever, and just your question. If you don't put a question, I'm just going to pull the cards. It is a 1 question, and we'll get to it. Also, the following Wednesday, I have moved the super chats because I won't be doing it on the weekend that weekend. If I find somebody hasn't prepaid, I may just pull it all together, okay, and follow up the next week. But I have scheduled the members also. Okay, Shasta, what I'm saying, let's see what's going on with you. Okay, There can be this push-pull dynamic. There could be a circumstance also happening around your masculine as well as a work-related situation. I it's really funny because there could be a circumstance where you don't know where you're going, where you don't know what you're doing, and you can feel spiritually just for a little bit that you could be having a little bit of an existential crisis. Like it almost feels like, what's my purpose? Where am I going? What am I doing? Um, because I am feeling it's almost you're looking at people and they're very certain, they're very focused. You also could find that your TF is very focused on work at the moment and very ambitious and very goal orientated. Your energy could be that also. But again, I feel there is this frequency that you're protecting yourself. I feel you're gauging how people are. You're kind of frustrated because you're like, you're happy that you are, opening up and explaining how you feel. And, it's like you could also be saying to yourself, how long is a piece of string? And you're going to know the context of what I'm talking about here. And that can be the sheer frustration of this transformation with this situation, even though you have a very strong connection to it. It's interesting because in the heart space, there's the devil card. And I knew that it was going to be something to do with Pluto. Because of your zodiac and where the positions are. What you're finding is, like I said previously, you're going to be feeling both the Capricorn and Aquarius energy. So in one breath, you're very in the here and now. Some old things can come up. In the next, it's going to be, am I going down the right direction? Do I want to do, and Aquarius energy is going to act like Uranus. It's very sudden and big changes. So we're going to see a lot of innovation with technology. It's going to be very radical. It's going to be very frightening. We're going to be like, are we ready for this? And anything new, we always do feel that way. Let's be perfectly honest. But it'll be the ethics and, and it will impact everyone because it's Aquarius. But spiritually for you, you could be very hard on yourself at the moment with your heart, what you're choosing, who you're letting in. There also could be passion there. Old wounds can be resurfacing. But again, it's like you're looking at the devil in the detail. You do know inevitably you want to make a decision. You also feel that person needs to. But there could be some funky energy coming this week. It could make you angry. It could make you frustrated. Just move into your self-awareness. It is a temporary frequency. I would also say protect your energy during the moon in Scorpio. Not that we're there yet. But I still feel it's playing out. Okay. Okay, on to the next before Giggle's brain turns to. And Giggle, whenever you feel, you can just call the super chats, my love. It's up to you. If you can't do any more, all good. All good in the hood. Okay, so we have Giggle. Okay, you're looking at this connection and you're like, I don't even know. You asked me a question before, and what I'm feeling is in the context of are you, aren't you? This could be a question that you're asking yourself in the context of your TF. Are they single? Are they not? It could also be you feeling to yourself, am I, aren't I? But it is the mind space, okay? It's the crowning energy. There's a big question mark, and you're moving through. I always call it a portal where we are, how do I explain it? Because we're in the mind, we're doing the filing. It doesn't mean it's a physical reality, but we're trying to put things in a filing cabinet. So spiritually, it feels like physical 3D. Is that right? But you're questioning that at this point. You're like, okay, how directly do I look at this? I'm trying to be grounded with it. Yeah, but you're having a change of energy. Ooh. Oh my Lord. Okay, I've got to find this song. I can't say the lyrics on YouTube. I'll probably get my ass kicked, but this song popped up. I'll find it for you and hope to God I don't knock the frequency out. Oh, it's funny. You will know. It's on a movie. Okay, I'll just give this to you. Copy. Let's bring it back. Okay, you're gonna know the context of it. This is the energy, right? Now I hope the link works, otherwise I'll send it to you. It's what's the movie called? Is it Fist Fight? Oh, the Big Sean song? You know the one I'm talking about? It's where the little girl is up there on stage with her dad and she's like, mic drop. That's the song, okay? That's the song that I heard. Now, this can be all the way down to you looking at the person and going, okay, you need to level up. You need to get life together. You need to work it out. You know, sometimes you feel this person is lost. You know, it's like, where is the masculinity? Other times you're feeling the only person that can fix it is them. There's some situations from the past that they're dealing with emotionally, and you're wanting them to take the bull by the horns, right? You're guarded at the moment. Your heart space is like, look, I'm holding this together. I'm protecting my heart chakra. I'm taking my energy back. You do feel this person's going to be regretful, but you've passed a spiritual test. You're entering into a new cycle with this situation, which is going to change it. So sometimes we can feel, hey, because I've changed, it means it's not going to change. No, polar opposite. Once you spiritually have changed, the energy in the joint connection directly completely changes. So where you think this person is bored, it's like they need to get to a point they get to rock bottom with this circumstance, but you directly spiritually when we become bored with the cycle and a behavior, it means we've outgrown it, which is it's a compliment. It means we've ascended. So what in general will happen is that person will pick up on it energetically. You could have a trigger in about 2 weeks, but you'll feel some panic coming on their side. Sit with it, just send love and light and say, you can handle this just as I have ascended through this process. This is a learning curve for you. This is a lesson you need to learn. And in doing such, this person will ascend. Now, as you are moving forward and making spiritual plans for your life, which you are already, right? What happens is this person is yanked up and the movement starts again. You're safe, you're protected. It's how do I put it? It's going in your favor. I'm not going to say trust the process. You don't need to. It is okay. Nothing can be taken from you. Okay. So, but the energy of what it's causing in you is going to be the solution with the page. Okay. It's the solution. Okay. It is going to come back around. I hope that helps. Now we have KM. 3 cards for KM, please. Crowning energy. Hi, Char. How you doing? Where's your head at? Okay, you know they got 2, right? Yes, I said that on YouTube. I did. I did say it. Well, it's technically 4 cards, right? So I picked the crowning energy, past, present, future. So, KM. And okay. Itchy nose. Okay. Joint energy. There was something you asked in the members the other day, and I probably should articulate a little bit back on it because, you know, when we say energy update on twin, you know, a lot of times, a lot of what is happening is also happening on our side of the fence. So how can that look? We generally will have joint lessons. We generally will have joint cycles. And I always would sit there and say, okay, what is this? Now, sometimes when we are listening to readings, you will find through your ascension process that sometimes, and I always say, always listen to with an open mind, masculine, feminine, and karmic. And why is that? Because we are the Trinity. And all human beings have the three energies. So we have a masculine, we have a feminine, we also have a karmic side to us, which is they can be karmic cycles we're clearing, the things we embody in our chakras that are spiritual blockages that we're detoxing, and we ascend quite aggressively at a point. Now, what happens is, especially with readings, what you can find is, and I did mention this at the very beginning of the reading, we at the moment collectively have an imbalance within our masculine, feminine collectively. So we are either way too aggressive or passive. Okay, it's going to be one or the other. It's almost like there is an imbalance with one side. So, acknowledging our feelings. If we're all over the place and we're super emotional, we're needing to balance the feminine, but not look outside ourselves for a masculine to fix the feminine. Does that make sense? So, because even if that person was there, it's something dramatically going on inside of us. So in your twin flame path, when we get these readings, you actually, by doing the spiritual work, can ascend into union 50 times faster if we understand the basis of, by looking at it when blockages are happening in a path, by stopping and going, hey, that person might not be in front of me right now, but what spiritually can I physically see in my 3D life going on? Because subconsciously, it can be directly happening on their side. And you'll find while we have blockages, the connection has a blockage. And so no movement will happen. Sometimes when we are moving back, it can be to test the fact that we have less attachment. And it's like, look, whatever you do does not define me. I still have my goals. I still have my hopes and dreams and aspirations. I want you. I don't need you. Does that make sense? Now, what I'm seeing coming through here is you could be wondering, after a big situation happened in your life, of what that person is doing and how, you've been through a trauma. So the first thing I'm seeing through this card is you showing up in the energy, looking at the reference of the connection in the energy of the Queen of Coins. Okay, so this is a person who is, I would say, innocent, the good guy. Yeah, we'll keep it simple. We'll keep it simple for context, right? The moon energy also can relate to our wounds because it's moving towards Scorpio. I'll have to get the date it's moving to Scorpio. Let's have a look. 13th. Friday the 13th. It's a new moon. And it's going to be at 20 degrees, so very, very Pluto. Okay, so again, family. Usually when we look at family, it's to do with you as a mother. It's to do with you as your home. It's wondering if that person thinks about you, thinking about the connection. But you are healing also 2 areas of life. A is the energy of what just transpired. B is the energy of how you feel about your own life. And then C is the twin flame path. Does that make sense? So you've got all of that going on. They spiritually also, intuitively, what you find is the connection between TFs is very psychic. So can they feel that you have this heavy emotion? Can they feel that maybe something has come up in your family? There also could be some things happening in your family currently that is making you feel a little bit topsy-turvy. You also are wondering if this person is in a third-party situation. They also do wonder if you currently are in a third-party situation. Now, when we're clearing an energy from the past, sometimes we can say to ourselves, because I'm single, it means I'm not in a third-party situation. Actually, not correct. A lot of times in the joint connection, we can physically see that person is maybe in a partnership and we're solo, but we emotionally are still healing over a previous connection. So it can create a blockage. And it's actually doing us a favor. It's doing us a favor because if we were to add extra to that, that inner child's going to go, off the Richter scale. So it's giving you the nicety of going, wow, I need to unpack this situation. But you are looking at it like, you still want this energy. This person also has been hurt. They're making reference to that. They're also making reference to the point that, how do I explain it? That there was maybe issues previously around family and, could I say jealousy? I could. Not necessarily does it come through that way. Do you know what I mean? But there was some sort of conflict. There was a conflict. Advice. Yeah, you're like, what do I commit to here? What do I commit to? It's almost like you're saying to yourself, haven't heard from that person. It's really out of my control. Do I just stay open to love? Am I spiritually ready for love right now? This person could have a family-related dynamic coming up also very soon. And your concern could be, oh my gosh, they're going to go through what I'm going through. Okay. Who do we have next? Marie. How you doing, Marie? Marie, have you had a wound? Have you had a cut or an abrasion lately? I feel it's on the hand. Be careful with your hands when chopping, because I was seeing a Band-Aid. It doesn't have to be on the hand, though. They're showing me something else. They're showing me a bandage. That's random. Okay. Hi, beautiful. Can you pull cards for DM? And I was really happy after the super chat. I got 3-line response to my text as she told me. Yeah. Most welcome, doll. Okay, let's see. But yeah, always messages can come through. Sometimes if we're not seeing them coming through in the feminines, actually see that sometimes we can have an imbalance in that area and you'll get your messages from the masculine, because we'll be in the heart. My girlfriend called it the warrior princess, which means that we are almost trying to do everything, going to extremes, and then we're not connecting in with our spiritual energy. So there can be an imbalance between the masculine and feminine. Yeah, because I saw a Band-Aid. I saw also they're making reference to, if you think, and again, I can't give medical advice, but this is what my guides are showing me. If there is a mole or something that you are a bit wary about, go and get it checked. Okay? They're saying go and get it checked because it's sortable. Get it checked. Okay. Okay, the person's intentions to you are very pure. This person's intentions feel, there's some reference to maybe Thanksgiving and Christmas. It gets to that emotional point. You also could have some money coming in very separately, and it can be for a home. It's something, some spring clean, some tidy. But there's a lot of emotions coming up, and you also feel that person is starting to really appreciate you in the way that they are maybe energetically moving towards you or exhibiting energy, but definitely very different. Okay, things have gone silent, but it's going to pick back up. It's a calm. I'm hearing the term, it's a calm before the storm. This person's been thinking about you quite a bit. There is communication coming in. I do feel they're having some trials and tribulations at the moment on their side of the fence. I'm not necessarily picking that your heart chakra is super heavy, but in the heart space, you do have the 10 of Wands. Okay? I feel that you have noticed by dealing with the circumstance differently and trying to not, it's almost like, you know, when we're wounded, it's like we're going to protect ourselves. I do see, you know, It's very hard to break a pattern. Why? Is because we're going to have assimilation and we're going to try and do it differently. And you are definitely always, if you do it differently, you can ask Dawn. Or, I've been coaching a lot of people over the years, and Dawn of late has had some breakthroughs, and she's like, whoa, okay, light bulb, light bulb. I'm seeing what you mean. I'm seeing how that changes. I'm seeing by responding it to it differently, I'm in a bit more zen. I'm getting different outcomes. Now, your pattern, especially with vulnerability, it means, it's almost like walking up to a person and going, what if I get rejected, but I'm telling this person I love them? It's actually okay to have a feeling for a person, but we have such shame associated to it that we can retreat back and we can feel rejected. And again, that's all the inner child. And when we have a healthy relationship with the inner child, we're actually going to be kinder to ourselves. We're going to be like, yes, I'm nervous. What if they don't? But what if they do? And the only way we're going to know is by dealing with it differently. There are some personal circumstances they're dealing with. These masculines generally take a couple of weeks to digest, unpack. I also had a revelation of late, obviously, because I do have that energy between masculine and feminine, is that sometimes we do have habits of running away. And so I did notice a pattern, especially through my ascension process. It's like I do have a threshold and a benchmark that if somebody is really, how would I explain it? If they're crossing the boundaries too many times, and this doesn't matter who they are, coldly so, I formed a habit of completely, it's like Alice in Wonderland. Is it Alice in Wonderland? Giggle? Off with their heads. And it's, you're gone to me. You're gone to the left. Everything you own in a box to the left. I've tried to sit with emotions these days. I do. I have a very, what would the word be? If I feel a person needs to leave, I will cut them off. It doesn't mean I don't care about them, but I will cut them off for my health. Does that make sense? Now, this person here is learning how to unpack certain things. Queen of Hearts. Thanks, Giggle. So you're like, do they value me? Do they love me? Oh, wow, that was really nice. It's almost like an addict. An addict. You get your fix. You're like, oh my God, this is all right. How do we deal with the lows? Not getting up in our head. Still embodying that frequency. I'm really glad that person messaged me back. That was nice. That was a different vibration. I'm worthy and I'm going to continue living my life. I know my truth. I know I'm worth it. I know I'm worth it. And not personalizing particularly and unpacking a human being is doing, because how they relate to things and how we relate to things. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. That's what we got going on here right now. Now, communication is going to come in. You also may have dissected so much of it. You also may question how much more you can take. And trust me, as much as I hate to admit it, the heart grows. Even when it breaks, it regrows. It breaks, it regrows. But you're like, how much more crap? Do they have something on their plate? Is there something going on? But it's the heavy heart on your side. And you're asking yourself, how much longer do I have to wait? Is it going to change? Now you're feeling disillusioned. It's asking you to, how do I put it? It's a bit like, a kid and they go to the candy store and they eat that candy and then they got that sugar high and the come down. You get the come down at the moment. Doesn't mean this is what's happening with this person. No, I think they're seriously thinking about whatever the conversation was. Were you able to get more out of it than just a response? Because I'm seeing, if you haven't already, I do actually feel there is a possibility that there's a big conversation coming. It could start off being a text message, but it's going to go further later. Okay? But don't get up in your head. Be in the bliss. Know who you are. They are unpacking a situation, but they can handle it. Whenever you go into the heart space or the head space and you're going, yeah, but they got this and they got that, and that means the path's blocked, just go, no. Wrong story, don't like it, and you'll find the 3D will change. Okay? But they're deeply thinking. They're deeply thinking. I do see, if you haven't already had a really in-depth exchange, that's coming. What time is it? 10:36. Okay, Dawn. Hey, Dawn, love. Oh, Dawn. It's go. Dawn, you keep your vibe high, girl. I'm going to kick your butt. It's okay, though. I understand. So, Dawn. Oh, this could be your twin. Okay. Oh, God. How many do we have? Oh, you got interesting ones. I feel you, girl. I feel you. The BS radar's 0. The BS radar's 0. The fatigue, though. Oh, that's okay, love. I hope it helps. Okay, so the first thing I was getting, and I do feel TF has changed. Yours is going to be pretty punchy, Dawn, because it's very clear coming through in a chatted message. First vibration I get was a song, and we always get songs, you and I, right? So I'll find the song, and I know Pink wrote it. Adam Lambert sung it. I know that. This feels so synchronistic. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a collective energy song at the moment, but it came through for you. You are, you know. So the lyrics actually do relate to the fact that the person and so A, I get the context of the song. B, what I'm seeing is very much similar. Sometimes it's a little bit like an apology, but it's like a 101 of what you need to know. So what I would say is the lyrics are going to make sense in the context of what this person's going through. They do have feelings for you, okay? They are coming to terms with some things. They are relating to you differently. They do feel a bit down. It's very reflective. It's super reflective at this point. So it's almost like hanging out, going away, unpacking, hanging out, going away, meditating upon it. A lot of thinking, right? Now, this thinking in the song, it's the context of this person basically saying, slow it down. Hey, what do you want from me? Slow it down. There might have been a time I would give my heart away. But now here we are. Just don't give up. I'm working it out. So it's when we're healing, we always run the risk of personalizing how another person is exhibiting energy to us. It's very common. And we can go, why are you treating me this way? Why is this going on? How quick we do, look at a wound that you currently have right now and just say to yourself, right, okay, you'll know what it is. There's a particular wound that keeps rearing its ugly, bloody head. It's like, the horse that we're dragging around, and just saying to yourself, when am I going to get over that crap? When am I just going to pack that and put that shit to bed? When you look in at your path and another human being and how they're exhibiting energy, when we have the inner child going on, we can't hear reason because we are the victim. We spiritually are hearing and seeing only what is happening to us. We also do tend to speak for other people based on what we feel they're thinking and the reasons why they're reacting, because we have had generally a lot of people maybe that we've attracted into our life that are quite toxic. So we're reforming a better habit. We're reforming a way that we can, again, break patterns and conditioning to get a different outcome, but also to stay sane while a person is unpacking their life and not making it about us. This person is having feelings for you. Are you the innocent person? You could be saying to yourself, am I being naive? Is there something I don't know? What is going on with this? You're having a lot. I'm noticing the third eye, and you're having a lot of light bulb moments. You could be very nostalgic. This person's very nostalgic at the moment. You're being patient, but because you're seeing change, even if it is to go backwards a little bit, don't think that no change is happening. Every day change is happening. You're being patient, though. You're actually noticing how patience actually brings a better vibration into the circumstance. There's always a time and a place where we can put our foot down and say, hey, the way you treated me isn't cool. And then you also know through your personal experience that communication has continued regardless. So when it goes into maybe an imbalance, it's usually because our attention has gone over there too heavy and there's something we're avoiding over our side. And as soon as we shift it, it rebalances again. So it's about finding that way within the yin and yang to keep that balance. And that if we do have, you could call it an attachment, but it's usually we're taking on a masculine role for another person. It's like, drop that. How would they leave? What would they do? How are they feeling? Oh, why haven't they left that job? Why haven't they let that person, place, or thing? We may have a circumstance we're looking at and we're getting angry at ourselves, but we're projecting it that way. Does that make sense? So human psychology is a very interesting thing, but it also does affect energy, point blank zero. It's like it attracts and it detracts. What I'm saying is you are ascending higher. Don't think this person's not ascending. They are, because you're actually looking at them like they're actually going through something. They're giving their power away. Maybe they're not able to be that. This person also is getting a little bit jealous at the moment. They do see you in the highest degree, but they're definitely acting very respectful towards you. You could be out of the loop with something, but you know something's going on. But those lyrics are your message. It's a message in a bottle to you. I hope it helps. Okay, Tracy. Yeah, it makes it so much easier. Like I said, I will repeat. I'm a very different person. It doesn't mean to say I don't have a throat chakra. I do have a throat chakra. I do get angry, and I do explain my grievances because I am my personal advocate. And as long as you are doing that, you will find your connection and any connection will flow because you are watching people's behavior. Sometimes you'll see two people talking, right? You'll get person A over here, person B over there, and they could be responding some way to you, right? And you'll be looking at them and going, that's personal. No, it's assimilation. When we're physically talking to each other, there is an exchange back and forth and we're being present. We directly relate. When we are having assimilation and a person is projecting, many people don't know they're doing it. They will be maybe making comments and pushing and, you do this and you do that. It's projection. You need to be adult enough to look at it very, very detached and go, wow, you're not here right now. Nothing I say is going to work. It's going to be pretty fucked up. And don't own it, right? But we both will do it. So it's about that awareness of knowing when this is more about the past and previous trigger and, I'm personalizing what you're doing. The car could have broke down or something like that. And you're like, you did it to me again. It's like, just be aware of information before we go head on, right? Back to the chit chat. Yeah. Just be ready for December. I did say to you the hot spot for you is November, December. Think back to the last time you were with TF. What month of the year was it? Makeup or breakup? What year was it? What time of the month was it? Was it, May? Any makeups, breakups always been November. November, December. Divorces, marriages. Decades later. Same thing. Okay, well, who have we got? Tracy. Okay, you got one extra card. This isn't like yours. Now, what have we got? Oh. Now, it's funny. The first thing that does come up is to do with your passion and love. Now, a lot of times you just say, whatever comes up, Yildiz. Something has quite hidden, okay? There's something, how would I explain it? Now, the first thing I'm getting is love is going to be addressed here. I don't know what they're meaning by that. There is a circumstance here. Now, this is something you love. This could be a physical person. There's also a circumstance that's going to come up that you might not want to talk about. This could be with a direct person, or it could be something that you've been meaning to say, but you haven't been able to, you haven't felt it was appropriate. It's going to be articulated. I also feel there can be some more abundance coming your way. You can be very creative with your thought process at this point. I do feel there's paperwork that you can be tying up in association to this situation. And I also feel there's a very rapid movement forward this could be in a brand new direction. But you got the Chariot, and it's in the heart space, and it's like having the courage to be open, having the courage to I also feel a lot of creativity, but I'm definitely feeling you're going to have almost this slingshot effect forward, and it's going to be quite rapid, and you're going to have to hold on because you're going to have all these radical ideas. You're going to have light bulb moments of how to resolve certain situations. Now, when it comes to work, regardless of, like, if you're having a real hard time, be it it's on a purpose or a physical job, they're actually saying that you have a good outcome coming. Now, if you've been like, do I go left? Do I go right? I'm seeing that there is some positivity coming your way, but it's going to really come down to how you react to it. You're turning up and showing up as the high priestess. You also could be maybe needing to make some physical changes surrounding a home or a family situation. I'm hearing a birthday. That can be very separate to the changes. And I do see a circumstance to do with travel. Now, your aura also is very protective of you. You're very selective about who you let into your circle. You have had some very large lessons over your lifetime, and the way you relate to things it's people underestimate you. It's very, very mature, but it's intellectually mature. Does that make sense? You observe situations, you keep your cards close to your chest, you're very protective of your aura. I feel there is going to be a major conversation here. This could be, I'm hearing, like, thanks, Giggle. I'm hearing cutting through the butter. It's like cutting to the chase, cutting through a situation. There's surrounding work. I also do feel there can be a circumstance where it's individuals and pettiness. There can be some dramas happening. I'm physically seeing a ladder, and I'm seeing you going up a ladder. And I feel this is in life. I really do. Where it does come to love, it is looking positive. I only tell you what you need to know. Yeah, pretty much. It's right there in the cards. Look, you are very intellectual with that. And I call it the art of war. Okay. And I've been mentioning this for a few weeks, so I think it's collective energy. The art of war is where we are taking a tactical approach, being prepared, preparing your foundation behind the scenes. You are very intellectual. You would have made a great lawyer, honestly. You're very intellectual when you deal with these things. You have that innate wisdom. You would be a fantastic manager. Your energy does have that. If you're seeing a problem at the moment and you're looking at it and you're looking in, I feel you're going to find the solution. I also feel that trust your instincts, because your instincts aren't going to guide you astray. If the instinct energy has been coming up over and over and over again, it's told you the truth and it's time to deal. Does that make sense? And it is saying it is going to be a better outcome should you address those things. And don't second guess yourself, because your guides are really protecting you at this point. Where it does come to love energy, I also feel be open to that. Okay, if you're currently in a connection, it's also saying be open to it. And I do feel you have the emotional intelligence, but there is this vulnerability that's going to come through, and it might make you feel funky, especially because when we do have the warrior princess energy, it's almost like you're embodying both the masculine and the feminine. And sometimes we kind of can have the poker face. it's showing that you do have your life together, but it's also showing that you can have a vulnerability and a deeper, meaningful conversation. But there's definitely love has been trying to come in quite a bit to your readings of late, and it's definitely the crowning energy here. So this can be your passion and purpose. It could be going on a holiday. I also do feel romance is going to come towards you. If you're currently in it, it's going to get bigger and it's going to be subjects that are going to be dealt with. But I definitely feel there is an oozing energy here of A, filling your cup, but B, yeah, sort of like a change in connections. Okay. The other thing I'm seeing, which is unusual, but not really relating to the transits, can be intimate wounds. Okay. So intimate wounds, right? But definitely you do have, and I think this energy could be met on a holiday. You may, due to the past, because there could have been like hurt. Sometimes it can be like a childhood trauma. Other times it can be a previous energy. You were very goal orientated, but universe is actually opening it up so you can have everything, that you don't just have to have one or the other. Does that make sense? I hope that helps. Yeah. Research clue. How you doing, research clue? That light gets so bright. Okay, 3 cards for research clue. Let's plow through this so Google can go to bed. Hold on. Oh. Okay. Emotions going high. Now, don't you love it when our ascension path changes and it's like we can go off our food, then we're binge eating? You got that energy going on. Okay, so this could be emotions that are suppressed quite a bit. I also do feel, I'm getting a few messages. I'm actually feeling TF is intimately thinking about you. There can also be old wounds that are coming up. We do have it very scorpionic in nature. Your crowning energy is the 3 of Cups in reverse. Now, this could be 3 cycles. I'm saying 3 physical cycles relating to love, three points. Oh, thanks, love. Most welcome. So there's 3 situations, 3 scenarios. You also have been dealing with, it could be 3 months, 3 years, but there's 3 areas majorly they're making reference to that you want to change. Emotionally, you could have felt funky over the last 3 weeks. There could have been overindulgence, obsessiveness, hurt. Also, you do have a lot on your plate. So it's asking you not to add more to your plate, especially as planets go direct. It's sort of like, okay, those lessons, we had no momentum. A lot of people are actually saying to themselves, okay, both in love and with wealth and with values and growth and all the rest of it, when's that going to happen? The first thing I can say is I spiritually see it from the 10th and beyond. But even more so is going to be for that movement, be it in our careers, and this can really relate to you at this point. There can be a pay rise, but you can have a lot of expenses that you're dealing with, especially with this frequency here and going to extremes and underestimating circumstances. But you can find also that you're going to look for creative ways to generate, okay, being a generator, so to speak. I do see a new way of tackling a circumstance, but when we avoid an emotion, what happens is we can embody it, and that can be through emotions, eating, drinking, feeling lethargy. I'm picking sacral chakra energy. It almost is zapped. It's being neutralized. You may need to upgrade it a bit. I also feel through this, there could have been some sexual energy coming through in your TF journey, okay? It's quite strong. And it's gonna start, how do I put it? Third eye is a bit blocked at the moment because especially when you have a lot of fatigue, what we do tend to have in the collective is when we do have sort of like we're getting really exhausted and it's getting very heavy, it's generally a way universe is what Giggle says. It's a little bit like a lobotomy. So what happens is we purge ego. So if we've thought about something too much and we've felt really crappy about a situation, it's a way universe will co-create a way that we can heal without the ego being involved so that we become more traumatized. So you'll get quite tired, quite foggy. You'll feel you just don't know what way to go. The best advice I can have for you is we don't make sense going shopping on a hungry stomach. And so spiritually, what they're showing me is you're tired. That one day a week, as soon as possible, you need to do a house clearing because something's zapping your energy. You can use tourmaline and onyx, and I would do a crystal grid in the home, clear it out, smudge it before the Scorpio moon, keep hydrated, look at all the use by dates, be careful because emotional, we'll go on and off food and our tummies can be a bit funny. The other thing I will say is if you are rested, you're going to be able to deal with the challenge more effectively. And a lot of us are going to be dealing with challenges more effectively. Not that we can see that, and it doesn't mean there's less on our plates. We're just going to be very determined very shortly where we're going to tuck in and sort this crap out. So with your TF path, you could have been thinking about it quite a bit. You also might have psychically popped off and not been able to tune in so well. It's going to come back again energetically. There could have been some insecurities. And again, the thing that is blocking you the most, my doll, all right, through a previous experience you have embodied, it could have been, a separation and situations with kids, and then your direct experience, sort of accidentally projecting it to the other person that because they're super traditional, they're never going to cut it. Try to clear that because, everything is in divine order. Okay? Everything's in divine order. Shake off the frequency because like attracts like. So if you've had a negative few weeks, what tends to happen is it can continue on until we can shake it off and go, right, I need to snap out of this. I need to get some good rest. I need to drink fluid. I'm going to nurture myself. Then I'm going to look in and go, okay, what seriously do I need to address right now so that I can get my vibration right? And it's almost like changing a channel, and it's going to change everything that's coming towards you. I do feel, although you may feel this person is maybe in a karmic situation or has a tribe, that's not going to happen. And, how would the analytics work? Tune out of it. Yeah. You also do feel around work at this point very separately that, there's a backstabber, okay? There is a backstabber energy and you're wary of this person. I hope that helps. At the moment, I would say TF is frustrated, but once you drop that energy frequency of thinking that is the status quo, you will physically start seeing change on the other side. But you've got to get out of the too traditional 3D. It really does baffle me. Maybe it was because I am a psychic medium that when I was embodying that energy and having signs and synchronicities and telepathy and all the rest of it, initially I thought it was just because I was psychic. But what I do come to notice in the TF path is that you are, you sort of end up having a life where there are certain lessons and they do tend to mirror. And they merge in and out, so you understand and clear that kind of belief systems to a point that, we've got to get out of the too traditional paradigm. We're in a very 5D energy, but we're not embodying it correctly because we're either one or the other. So Dana, Scully, and Mulder, when we're actually synchronistically both. So if you can get that, you're going to create the harmony, you'll get the physical movement. But you do need to stop thinking that because of X, Y, and Z, it means it's forever. Because you're blocking it. You're blocking your blessings. Carrie. It is Carrie, isn't it? Or Lenora? Lenora. I hope I said it right. My eyeballs are falling out. I'm being blinded by the light. I saw the light. That's okay, doll. But yeah, don't get up in your head too much about it. You could have some old emotions. Hey, how you doing, sweet? What do you want to know? Things look positive here. You probably don't feel so, but they look pretty positive. There is a change. Look, there's going to be some hopes return, but you could be a little bit, how do I explain it? You know when something feels too good to be true, and then you're like, that's kind of where you are. Your cards are showing, and this is very common. I actually tested this theory back in 2017. A lot of transferring communication. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry was. And, can I be honest and say, way before I even started learning astrology, human beings in the TF community, and we could call them empaths. Let's call them empaths today for education purposes. We're all feeling very common frequencies on a month-by-month basis. What you are going through or about to, if you stumble across a video, this would be my advice to you. This is the messages that are coming through relating to your path. You may be thinking and feel, it's almost like I feel you feel this person quite heavily. So most recently, if you don't, it's on its way, FYI. When it comes up in a reading that there is a reconciliation and you physically in the 3D can't see it, it doesn't mean it's not on its way. Energy is fluid. So sometimes, and think about it from a psychic point of view, where we're tuning into the past, present, future. And I always have people coming back to me and going, wow, when it's a really in-depth read and it's like a 1 hour read and I'm going into the channeled energies, I can have people coming back to me going, wow, man, I remember you telling me X, Y, and Z, and, it physically happened. I mean, I have predicted several big transformations in one of my girlfriend's life, and still to this day, she promotes me. She's like, she's freaky. You're going to go see her. What I'm seeing here is your love interest is energetically shifting. This is a shift that's happening, right? You spiritually, you have Lady Luck on your side, especially around business, I would say at this point. But I definitely do feel a wish from the past is coming back for you. You sort of are 50-50 on the fence here. You're like, I wonder what's going to come up in the cards. I would say, and I don't know your zodiac sign, but they're mentioning the heart chakra. They're mentioning to open your heart chakra. Now, when we use crystals, you got to pick the right day, okay? I don't think it's not open. I don't think it's like it's not healed or anything like that. It just feels that there's a bit of a blockage there, and it feels more protectiveness. Sometimes when we have personal experiences, we go into warrior princess. So it's like, I'm not going to let anyone in. I'm going to be very, gradual in how I do things. I'm going to be very realistic. I do see you being critical on yourself here. This could be in the weeks coming. I'm asking you not to be. I'm asking you to go with the flow with it. I also feel, again, I do feel there is a change with this circumstance. You're thinking you're not going to get the star, but it's saying you are going to get the star card. You are going to get your wish. And I think this is a wish from the past. I do think this is a person from the past. I do see a child also. This can be your side. Their side, I feel a physical child. This person is very close by. Very, very close by. I see an exchange here. If you haven't communicated with this person, this communication is going to come in. It's almost like psychically you can pick up on it. Yes, you do know when the person is maybe off par, lying, not telling the truth. It's an energy. This, again, I do pick as psychic. They keep referencing. There's innocence here, but majorly what I'm seeing in the joint connection between the both of you spiritually are feeling, can I trust this person? Is it going to be okay? It's it's a little bit like when you meet the love of your life and it takes you to that inner child and you're like, oh, you get a bit gooey. You're in 50-50 at the moment. So you physically feel as though, am I being over optimistic? Maybe this is going nowhere. I'd ask you to go with the flow. I know it's hard, but go with the flow. I do feel don't second guess yourself. That's what they're making reference to, because the star card's here. Okay. I hope that helps. Kerry Char Madonna and Starbucks. Giggle's probably fallen asleep by now. Are you there? Do you want to come live with me and you can talk to me as I'm pulling the cards? I'll keep you awake. Kerry. Oh, you got the star as well. There's apprehension there for you too, Kerry. Most welcome, doll. Take care. Hi, sweet. You got the star card. I saw the star earlier. Went in and you're like, what star? Okay, the star generally, when we go through hard times, it's always darkest before the dawn, right? So what happens is we're having a crappy time. It's all dark. It's all gloomy. It's all miserable. And then, the clouds and the sunstorm and lightning are very, very frightening. And then bang, the sun comes up. You guys want you to know, regardless of your living situation, your emotions, your feelings, where you are, feeling home inside yourself, is that you are safe, you are loved, and you are going to find your north. You are going to know what to do. You're awake. I love it. So you are going to find that. You could be returning home soon. This off to the right, they're saying, close by. Star come up. Your star come up. It's going to pass, okay? You need to trust the process with how ascension works. And that's collectively. It's shitty. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The energy lately has been anywhere from flatline to just super negative, super heavy and exhausting, depressing to revelation, bit of a win. I'm going to go with that. So the cards you have, you do grasp that people are going through hard times. There is something you're dreading, and it's really sad that you're dreading it because it could give you a new lease of life. There is a circumstance or something that's going to play out that maybe is going to trigger some things in you. It can be, why doesn't that happen for me? How does that happen? I also do feel you could hear some gossip through the grapevine of a circumstance with that person that has been quite difficult for them. So there is a difficulty, not as all as it seems. I do feel you're apprehensive about a getaway. I do feel you're apprehensive for various reasons. Could it bring up some wounds? It's a possibility. But you do have the star card here. I feel this is a spiritual trip. Does this make sense? So there's a spiritual energy of a direction, and it's almost like a painting, right? By stepping back, say we've got a problem with an area in life, and trust me, most of us have 99 problems, right? There's a lots going on. It's very heavy. How do you actually break that down? Getting rest, getting perspective, and I said this to giggle, a hotel room, regardless of single or couple, sometimes it's to get some space, to just be, because we haven't had time to just sort everyone else and come back to Zen. And I think that's why I'm saying it's very important that we practice our spiritual practices at this point. So what can they be? Walking, drinking fluid, grounding ourselves, taking 5, resting where we need be. When we are in that space, we then can make plans. And I think what is happening is universe is like, you've got no time, so we're going to make it for you. The obligation of energy, treating people like family. There you go. So it's something positive, something negative. It's hard. It's bringing about 2 frequencies in your life. But Universe has created a simulation for you to get very clear, to have some downloads, to go into those fields that maybe subconsciously we don't know. We just lock here because it's what's manageable. And so out of sight, out of mind, it's like I leave it here. So when they come up, it means you're not carrying them forward with you. And it means now you can open like a butterfly. And, you're going through a metamorphosis like a butterfly, like a caterpillar to a butterfly, and you're having this new beginning. And I think on the opposite side of this getaway, there's going to be a lot of healing, but there's going to be a new chapter. I also feel some big news coming through the grapevine, and it's something you're going to be quite happy about. But I do think through this, not only are you going to heal, you're going to get your star. You're going to realize that what direction to go, how to deal with this. But I do feel some information coming through to you, and it is going to make you happy. I hope that helps. Chart. Okay, let's see what Char's is. Clear your home, Char. I got the same energy with yours. I'm hearing a song for you as well. I haven't heard this song in years. I'll have to find it and send it to you personally, because it's not really particularly coming through very clear. Thanks, Giggle. That's okay. Okay, so it's almost like you're going to have a change. Now, the change can be, again, I do see in money. I also do see a time frame they're making reference to in your life with your TF path and some spiritual changes. I feel you're going to be venturing into a circumstance that you haven't done before in a while. This feels different. This feels an opportunity that is coming towards you. I also feel a time frame they're making reference to that you could bump into an individual is around Thanksgiving and Christmas. They're making a reference to that. But you are also going to have a celebration, and I do feel somebody can be making you an offer of some description. I do see you spiritually taking a new direction. This can be you feeling as though, and again, I just feel luck around you. I feel you're going to have a surprise and to be open to it. It could be somebody offering you a job of your dreams or a holiday, but there's something that you've got. It's almost like you just spiritually decided to do something different. Whatever that is, I'm really getting that it's something very big. It's sudden. It's like when you make this decision, I just feel it happens very quickly and it flows through. I'm feeling you're going to bump into somebody that is linked to the karmic. I also feel there is going to be a karmic close with the cycle. And I do feel a document that needs to be signed. There is a physical document here. It's funny, your energy in general is always very positive, Char, but there is something here that is cropping up for you spiritually. It is protective. There is that, old frequency coming up. And by no means is this bad. It's not bad at all. But you are asking, look, how long is a piece of string? That's what we should call ascension, right? How long is a piece of string? You're actually closer than you think to a breakthrough here. This karmic zapping your energy. If you're feeling, okay, in the last few weeks, if you had become very negative towards masculine and karmic, be it they're together or not, and you have felt as though that person is just going to repeat patterns. They made their bed, they're going to lie in it. If any of that has come up for you, I would say it's because the karmic is losing grip and they're tuning into you. Okay. This can be a lot of insecurities that come towards you. You can experience headaches. I would do a clearing. You can do like the smudge over the head. And if you had been thinking of that person and there had been a bit of lack mentality, the first thing I would directly do is tune out so that person can't tap into your frequency. I just get a breakdown happening there if they haven't already. But even if they have, karmics do tune into twins, and it can directly impact. How can I explain it? It can impact your energy. Like, you can sense it. Your demeanor and attitude can change. That's why it's almost like we're giving it permission to enter when we're tuning into the person. You can tune into people. Just remember to maybe tune out after all that energy goes with you. You're going to hear some gossip about a third party energy. Whenever I'm tuning into this card, I'm yawning my health. It's horrible. Okay. This person is quite toxic. They're quite negative. I'm seeing an old friend coming back also. I also do, yeah, I'm very strongly feeling masculine not being with karmic. That's what I'm saying. I hope that helps, Char. But yeah, new opportunities. You'll have to tell me what they're about. What are these new opportunities? Because it just feels suddenly you're going to wake up and you're going, right, this is the direction I'm going. And it's very sudden. It's very quick. Who do we have next? Madonna and then Stella. Okay. What have we got for you, my love? Yeah, you're on the screen, Stella. Okay, Madonna, you could have a situation that you're dealing with. This could be a professional document. Can I get some insight on my twin as he has been silent for over a year, and why do I continue to dream of my toxic ex-Bruce? Spiritually, usually because we haven't come to terms with it, and we subconsciously sometimes can feel as though maybe it could have been different. And we can also feel at times karmics have a lot more power. So they can be entering a dream state because we're subconsciously trying to work that out. It can also feel like hauntings in the circumstance, but there will be a blockage relating to that. Now, could that be guilt, fear, anxiety? It can be 101 things. You're going to be able to answer it, in the 3D of your feelings, maybe something not 100% articulated to that person. How directly would you sum that human being up, and what is your current standing on it? That is the unpacking that would need to be done. I do feel your twin thinks you're with them. Now, what do I mean by that? Like you're healing over it. Do I feel you've done a lot on it? 100%. This energy also can be where you're feeling, is there a way I can tap out and get off this path? Is there a way it could get better? But I'm feeling external energies almost interfering in things. Does that make sense? Thanks, Giggle. Your cards are not negative. Your cards are very positive. I feel after the moon in Scorpio, I think there can be a shift in your path. I also feel a shift in this connection. If something went down previously, don't be closed off to reach communication. If this person was married, I feel a divorce, but there seems some legal binding contract that's being severed, so to speak. Again, I do see something major happening in their home. This could be a physical move of home. I'm hearing the term closer to family, but far enough away. They have a very nice energy. Like, okay, there could be some gossip that does come through the grapevine, but again, I'm actually feeling as though you internally, what will always happen is internally we feel it first. Then it kind of comes up in the 3-day. But internally, I see this person going through, I think it's almost like they pulled a tower down, they've changed things around. This could be a change of job, change of home, change of status, but it feels a lot of change. I also feel there's a possibility if they know family or tribe or even where your physical house is, they're making reference to the moon energy here, that they want to move towards you. They're wary about it because they do feel apprehensive, and it could have been something that actually went down previously. Maybe there was a fight between the both of you, but they're mentioning a reference point to apprehension. Yeah, and it's almost like they're also wishing that some things were different, wishing that maybe statement pieces that were once made at a point in time weren't made because it was through because I overall feel they're quite mature energies. But overall it might have been said in zest. Okay, so there's a bit of I would say a spiritual apology. They sometimes can speak before thinking, but generally, like, it's more with you than anyone. Does that make sense? With others and in general with you, it's good, but they are making reference to a point where they spoke before they thought. Okay. I do see a separation. Okay. If there were children involved in the situation, they're looking at that reference point. They do feel they've thought about this way too long. I would say definitely between now and the end of the year, a lot of these cycles are going to be wrapping up. Now, after a separation, for instance, say there were children and all the rest of it, there can be a forward motion with tidying up the past. It's like we're sweeping our crumbs up, and that's for masculine and feminine. This person could end up doing that regardless. So, going into separation, moving into the connection, there's still paperwork. There's still the analytics of that circumstance. So what they're making reference to is the fact that the intentions can be very pure upon reconciliation. Just be aware of the realism of the 3-day, okay, and try and be patient. But this person's thinking about you a lot. They also may know somebody that likes you, and they're being aware of such, okay? So there is a bit of jealousy that is going on their side of the fence towards you. Stella, last but not least. Then I'm going to go get my brunch. I'm drinking a cold, sweet coffee today because I've had nothing to eat all day. I hope it helped, love. 111222. Interesting. The ones and the twos, like, it's kind of good. It means it's amplified though, Stella. So it's the two energy is being amplified. But also, I've always found this. Only when I am not listening to my instincts will the numbers bombard me now. Because we integrate. We are like a crystal. So the situations happen. We see the signs and synchronicities. We ignore our conscious. We ignore our intuition. And then it's a little bit like a tower moment, for goodness sakes. It's like it comes at us, or it happens. There's near misses. And then you get my gist. Is there something at this point in time you want to make a radical change with, and you're 50-50 and potentially feel the energy is on another person's side of the fence? Because it always will match both sides. Let's look. So look at it in the context of your life as well as TFR. And then you're getting both the 3D and the 5D. Do you get what I mean? Okay. So, I don't see. Okay. We'll see what the cards come up with. Messages will come to you in your personal life. So if you Google the number synchronicity and what it means, it's amplified. So I would look for the 2. First of all, I would look at the 2s because what it's doing is amplifying the 2s. I don't know why I get this psychically, the Cinderella effect, 12 o'clock. You know, the pumpkin, the Venus energy. So whenever we get the number synchronicities, first, Google, look to the energy, look at what you were thinking when you saw it. That's the first point. Your own energy in your life of what needs addressing in that number synchronicity, and then twin. But all 3, right? And then you're going to be able to break it down. Yeah, you have apprehension. It's funny because you do have the Fool card in reverse. You're trying to be so realistic. You know, there are times in life where things are very chalk and cheese. I've had to find so many new analogies because of society these days. You've had to be realistic, but also being safe doesn't mean we're safe. Does that make sense? It's like, well, I've done the quality assurance and it means nothing ever is going to go wrong. Well, that's polar opposite. It's not real. So you spiritually are feeling as though you just need to make very realistic choices. You're being very realistic with maybe how you see the twin flame path. There is the spiritual energy that something from the past is coming back, old situations from the past coming back. This also can be in their life as well as yours synchronistically. And I'm seeing a reference point to the next 6 weeks. You are coming back into harmony and balance. They're also making reference to the fact, oh God, that card cracks me up. As soon as I started channeling the message, they're making reference to a point that you're very happy with everything as it is. But just as you have become very comfortable and detached in that, is something coming, okay? And they are referencing 6 weeks. You're going to be surprised. It's just going to really surprise you. There is a male energy around you at the moment that is very down. There's a close, they're making reference to a point that is very close where they will be actually having a positive outcome with the situation, but they've been very in their head. I do see a clock, like a clock turning here. I also feel that there is this person is getting to a space where they're wanting to follow their bliss, where they're wanting to follow their goals. They might have even been looking at readings because I'm looking at the crystal ball with the magician, and it's almost like psychically they're showing me this person may be going to maybe YouTube for a tarot reading or a twin flame video, maybe numbers and signs and synchronicities, but it feels as though I'm looking at their eyes. I smashed my hand on the truck, and, you know, it's literally been there 2 months. So if you see the black, I apologize, but, you know. So I'm seeing this individual here is almost like channeling and looking to the future, wanting some answers. They're very sciencey. They're very, TF. They're very sciencey. They're very analytical with their mind. But this can be the person actually coming to a place of self-forgiveness because they've outgrown something and just coming to a huge amount of acceptance. And when that happens, when these things are changing, they can actually hear their thoughts and they're seeing signs and synchronicities and they're looking for the deeper meaning. And this is deeper meaning energy. This person did go through a phase where they were saying, hey, I'm too old. You know, it's never going to happen. You also could have embodied this, and they're actually saying they're outgrowing that. They're actually looking at that as an excuse to not live happily, to not be authentic to self. And they have formed a very strong connection to their own core again of, what is right for them, what's right for them as a person. I do feel this person traveling. I also do feel they know that they can talk to you if they have an issue. Mate, this is the third time, I swear. Masculine is having naughty thoughts about you. I'll leave it there. We'll be polite, Stella. They're really thinking about that, okay? And it makes them happy. That thought makes them happy. And they're also noting that the chemistry is there within the connection. Thank you very much, Giggle. Silently. Most of those naughty thoughts are silent. This is the song I'm hearing for you. Here you go, Stella. This is the energy of what they're feeling for you, my love. Most welcome. Thank you, Giggle. I don't know what I'd do without you, girl. And any moderators that pitch in and help, I really appreciate you. This wouldn't be possible without you, nor would it be without your super chats. I hope the energy update did help at the very beginning. It has been pretty heavy lately. I will be back a little bit later for the joint connection. If you do need a booking, jump on board ASAP, especially if you need that spiritual support. There's always the YouTube membership. And I'll see you guys all shortly for the updates. Take care, guys.